Hi, welcome back. And it's great to have here in the studio for a change, David Hutt from the Australian Christian Lobby. Wow, the ACL in the flesh.
Yeah, it's great to be with you, Ken. Thanks very much for having me.
Yeah. Now, David, I understand you've had a bit of a win just recently with the issue of Zoo Weekly magazine being in supermarkets. What was the problem exactly, just going back a step?
Yeah. So Coles supermarkets have just said that they're no longer going to stock Zoo Weekly magazine, which is a magazine that really tries to push the limits of decency.
So in terms of sexual content, is that what...
Absolutely. I mean, this really is a pornographic magazine. The articles in it really promote the objectification of women, and I mean, I couldn't read it out to you, Ken. It's just so extreme. Coles have seen the light, though. There's been a really impressive campaign run by grassroots organisations collecting nearly 40,000 signatures, and off the back of that and through their usual processes of reviewing their stock, Coles have said that they're not going to sell this magazine anymore, and I think that's really significant. Now what we need to see, Kent, is other retailers like Woolworths coming to the party and saying that they won't sell this magazine anymore. I
think most of us understand that if we go to a service station, we go to a newsagent, there's going to be a range of magazines there. Some of them are going to have adult content. What's your issue with supermarkets in particular, when I assume you could buy this magazine in a lot of different outlets?
Yeah, sure. So I think the problem with this, Kent, is most Australians would support our classification system. It helps us make informed decisions about what sort of media we consume. Our concern at ACL is that Zoo, if you like, is one of those publications that slipped through the cracks. It essentially has got the equivalent of a G rating, when really it should have much tougher restrictions placed on it.
So a child could buy this magazine?
Yeah, that's
from
exactly right. Yeah. And so there are currently no restrictions on the sale of Zoo Weekly. We think that's inappropriate. And so what we've done at ACL is we've written to the state and federal attorneys general, calling for there to be a reclassification of Zoo Weekly, and we've listed a range of transgressions, if you like, that they've made where they've crossed the line, and we're hoping to see the magazine reclassified.
Okay, all right. On to another topic, David. Is it my imagination, or does it seem that in the media space there's a growing willingness to discuss the issue of same-sex marriage, and perhaps some of this sort of intolerant sort of language of bigot and hater is perhaps reducing a little, and people are saying, no, let's talk about this in a respectful way?
Look, I hope so, Ken. I really do. We've seen in the last little while the Prime Minister has said that he wants to see a people's vote on marriage. Now, if the Australian people are going to be voting on the future of marriage, then that means hopefully we're going to have a much more mature national debate on this issue, where hopefully all sides
of the argument... Well, we need to have a mature national debate, don't we?
Well, we do, we do. And whatever your views on marriage are, and people have strongly held views on this, we should be able to hear both sides of the argument in a respectful manner. So far we've seen a lot of one-way traffic on this issue, I'm afraid, and that's led to a lot of people being called names like homophobe and bigot. That's just no substitute for having an argument or having a debate. There are good reasons to preserve marriage. There might be good reasons to change the definition of marriage. Everyone should be able to put forward their best argument, and we should be able to hear both sides in a respectful and civil debate.
Yeah, it goes for a lot of things. Hey, thanks so much for your time today. Really appreciate it, David.
Great. Thanks very much, Ken.
And now it's time for Food in Focus.